Every plant can do this fundamental process, and we can call this photosynthesis.
Plants, like animals, requires raw materials for building tissues and as a source of energy. The process plants make their own food is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the basic process by which plants manufacture carbohydrates from raw materials using energy from light. Photosynthesis is the process in which light energy trapped by chlorophyll is used to convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. One of the raw materials, carbon dioxide, that plants need to make food comes from the air, and the other, water, comes from the soil. Plants use carbon dioxide and water to make their own food in a chemical reaction, which is photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide in the air diffuses into the leaves through stomata. Water is absorbed by the plant's roots from the soil and is transported from the roots to the leaves by the xylem. Plants need energy for photosynthesis to take place. The energy for photosynthesis comes from the sun. Plant cells in the upper surface of leaf have chloroplasts which contain the green pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll traps light energy and converts it into chemical energy for the formation of carbohydrates and their subsequent storage. In photosynthesis, chlorophyll in plant cells absorb light energy to change carbon dioxide and water into glucose and the byproduct oxygen. So the word equation for photosynthesis is this. This equation can be read as carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of light energy and chlorophyll, produce glucose and oxygen. If we turn this into symbol equation, then it looks like this. First equation is unbalanced because I just changed word equation into just symbols, and then we have to balance equation, and the second one is the balance equation. When we look at the cross section of leaf, there are many different types of tissue in the leaf. This is the cross section of leaf, and from the top it is waxy cuticle, upper epidermis, and palisade mesophyll, sponge mesophyll, vein, lower epidermis, stomata, and guard cell. Waxy cuticle is a waterproof layer that cuts down the water lost by evaporation. It is thicker on the upper surface since this surface is usually more exposed to the warming rays of sunlight. Upper epidermis. Upper epidermis is usually a single layer of cells with no chloroplasts, so light goes straight through it. It has the major function of preventing the entry of disease-causing organisms such as bacteria and fungi. Palisade mesophyll. Palisade mesophyll is full of palisade cells which contains lots of chloroplasts. So most photosynthesis occurs here. Tall, thin, and narrow cells stick together, so this dense packing of these cells allows the absorption of the maximum amount of light energy. Veins. Vein contains xylem vessels that bring water and salt to the leaf, and phloem tubes that take away organic products of photosynthesis such as glucose. The sponge mesophyll cells are covered with a thin layer of water and are irregularly shaped to create air spaces to allow gases to diffuse and have many chloroplasts, but fewer than the palisade mesophyll. The air spaces are saturated with water vapor, so water diffuses out of the leaf. In lower epidermis, there is no thick cuticle since it is less exposed to the sun, but there is lots of tiny holes called stomata, which allows gases to diffuse in and out. So, what is stomata? In stomata, carbon dioxide diffuses in for photosynthesis, and oxygen made in photosynthesis diffuses out of the leaf, and water vapor diffuses out. Also, they are in the lower epidermis, so it is less exposed to the sun, so that evaporation of water is kept to the minimum. Stomata are opened and closed by guard cell. Then what is the guard cell? Guard cell stomata usually open during the day. Water passes into the guard cell by osmosis. This makes them bend so the stomata opens. At night, the stomata close. Water passes out of the guard cells by osmosis and they straighten and move closer together, so closing the stomata pores. The stomata also close in hot, dry weather to help prevent the plant wilting. So in addition, when a plant is short of water, the guard cell becomes flaccid, which means closing the stomata. And also, when a plant has plenty of water, the guard cell becomes turgid, so it becomes open, so stomata is opened. The cell wall on the inner surface is very thick, so it cannot stretch as much as outer surface. So as the guard cells swell up, they curve away from each other, opening the stomata. Firstly, we are going to look at the light intensity. The light energy is really important to the process of photosynthesis because it provides the energy to split water molecules. So if you're looking at this graph, we can see that as light intensity increases, the rate of photosynthesis will increase until the plant is photosynthesizing as fast as it can. At this point, even if light becomes lighter, the plant cannot photosynthesize any faster. Between A and B, the plant is limited in how fast it can photosynthesize because it doesn't have enough light. Between B and C, even if more light is shown on the plant, it still cannot photosynthesize any faster. Second one, carbon dioxide concentration. As the carbon dioxide concentration increases, the rate of photosynthesis also increases until it reaches the maximum. That means the more CO2 a plant is given, the faster it can photosynthesize up to a point, but then a maximum is reached. So the rate of photosynthesis stays constant after it reaches the maximum, which is C. So the last one is temperature. As the temperature increases, the rate of photosynthesis increases too. As enzymes are involved in photosynthesis, so enzymes will be denatured at high temperature. Unlike CO2 concentration and light intensity, it doesn't stay constant after it reaches maximum. The rate will decrease.